Hey folks, Fred Bernardo, the smoking guitar player from Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply in Shillington, Pennsylvania. Today, we're going to make some beautiful 100% whole wheat artisan loaves of bread that look like this. And not only that, but we're going to bake them in our MAK Pellet Grill. One just like this one right here. The 2-star General. And we're going to use all this stuff right here. So what do you think? Let's make it. Here we go. Okay folks, so here we are. We're going to make our 100% whole wheat bread, and we're going to make it on a grill. You better believe it. So let's get started making it. I have all the stuff I need right here, so let's get the cameraman down here and we'll talk about all this stuff. Now when we bake these kind of loaves, we can make them into baguettes and put them in here and make like them Frenchy baguettes, okay? Or we can also fill it about halfway to this pan, a regular bread pan, and we get a nice like American style loaf. Or we could just make some artisan, just some round boules, they're called, like a ball, okay? Or we can make like longer ones. So, that's about loaf shaping. We're gonna just make some Frenchies and some other ones today, and here's all our ingredients. Now, this is our flour, and I'll show you what we're gonna do here. Normally, I mix the stuff right in one of these things and keep it in there. But so you can see things better, I'm gonna do it in this clear plastic one, okay? That way you'll be able to see what's happening. And then I'm going to transfer the dough into one of them white buckets when I get to the last stage, which is put it in the fridge. Now, first thing, and very important, is to spray this with this spray. Any kind of cooking spray, non-stick. You can use the PAM one. We don't want to say any brand name, so we'll say PAM. Okay, that's what it's called. Okay, and the most important thing here is that'll make it so this thing is much easier to clean out when it's time to wash it. Because this dough tends to be really icky. Okay, now, going down our ingredients, the first thing we need is lukewarm milk and lukewarm water. So our milk happens to be cold, so what I did is I made our water hot. That way when we're done, they're both going to be lukewarm. And by the way, these ingredients, if you want this complete recipe, it's on our website, tastylicksbbq.com, and you just go to hit the recipes button and it'll be right there with all the measurements. Here's our yeast, our dry yeast. Here we got some neutral flavored oil, like canola oil works good. Okay. Here we got some salt. And here we have some honey. That's right. Now you know that's some goopy stuff. I'm going to give it a minute to drain out, and I'm going to help it with my finger. Make sure your finger's clean, or wear a clean glove or something. Okay, I'll get that all down in there. Honey, you know that's going to make it good. Okay, now what I do the next step, for the next step, I'm just going to swish this stuff all together, get it mixed real good. Then we're going to put our flour in. You're going to see what's going to happen. I'm going to wind up using my hands to mix the flour because this turns into a pretty icky, sticky dough. Okay? I see that my honey gathered a little more here. Get a couple more drops of that in. There you go. So get this stuff all mixed up, and then we're going to start adding our flour. Now notice how I added a little bit at a time. No, I actually don't. With this, you can just dump the ingredients together. Now for a little bit, I'll be able to use this thing to mix it, but it's going to get pretty ornery pretty fast, and then I'm going to get my hands in there. Now this dough should be very, very tacky to sticky, and sort of shaggy, and like halfway between like a batter and a dough sort of, or a real wet dough. If it isn't, you can add a little more lukewarm water. Okay, so that's about as far as I'm going to get with this thing. So I'm going to clean that off. And then, now I'm going to use my hands. Or should I say my hand. Now this stuff gets so icky, it'll pull this glove off my hand probably, but I'm getting pretty good at making it so it doesn't. You just want it until the stuff is all wet, until there's no more dry flour. You got to get down in the corner and in the edges, see there's dry stuff down there. Okay, and eventually you'll get it all incorporated in. Now my whole bottom has some stuck on it. I can see it there, but you'll see I'm going to pull it all in. I'm scraping the bottom. This is about 1 minute's worth of work. Now what's going to happen is here, now the first time you make this, it's good to make it in a clear container, which we used to do all the time. We'd leave it in one of these. I'm going to need this container for something else later. So I'm going to transfer it to this white bucket. But you can leave it like this, and what's going to start happening over the next couple hours, this dough is going to get bubbly, a little more bubbly, and it's going to start rising, and it's going to get probably up to about here. It's going to take 2-3 hours for that to happen at room temperature. I'm going to lightly get that little piece of dough off of there. I'm going to lightly cover it like this without pushing it down. And that dough is going to rise up from here up to about here. And after 2 or 3 hours, it'll flop down on itself. It goes and it flops down. At that point, you either put it in the fridge and it's good for up to 3 or 4 days. You can take a hunk out every day and bake a loaf. Or you can actually bake it, start making your loaves and baking it right away as soon as it flops, 2-3 hours from now. But if you put it in the refrigerator now, it's much easier to handle this dough when it's cold. And what you want to do is throw some flour on the top and grab it out. And you'll see me do that when we make the loaves, okay? So that's all it is. If you need the ingredients, you want to know the exact amounts, go to tastylicksbbq.com, click on recipes, and it's right there, 100% whole wheat dough. So let's get on with the next procedure after this settles down. Okay, folks, I'm going to make my 100% whole wheat, no knead bread today. We're going to make a couple of loaves a couple different ways I'm going to show you. And here's the bread dough that I made, and this has in it whole wheat flour, milk, water, kosher salt, some honey, and some vegetable oil. Okay, and you mix it all together and it becomes this blob thing. Then you put it in the fridge overnight. And that's what I did. And now I'm going to form my loaves down here. Need plenty of board flour, and you sprinkle some flour for sure on top of this dough, okay? Then we're gonna grab a hunk. A little more than that. Grab a hunk there, and we're gonna form a nice loaf. Now, this whole wheat dough is pretty easy to manage. When you use the regular stuff, it isn't. Now, we're gonna make like a large baguette here, or maybe even like a large sandwich roll, long sandwich roll. So, first we make a rectangle. Nice rectangle. Okay, push it out. Okay, and then the first fold goes like this. 1, 2. Now I got a lot of flour here, so you gotta not have enough. You gotta make sure you pinch this together. Pinch it together like that. There you go. Then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make that into a rectangle. Now if this dough starts getting tough, and this is a little, that it's hard to work, just put it aside and let it warm up a little bit. And you'll be able to come back and it'll work really good. Now, push this out. It's a little too cold, but that's okay. Like I say, you can let it warm up for a few minutes. We're gonna do one more fold like this. Now I didn't get flour on here so that it sticks real good. Fold it. Still gonna have to pinch it. Pinch it. Pinch it. Pinch it. Come on, baby. Pinch it, baby. Then roll her over. Then when you got it like this, you can give it a little roll. Now if you want to make it really long, you can make it longer. We're gonna do 2 of these, so maybe we'll make one long and one short. You notice I got to keep pinching this till it sticks together, but it's pretty good now. We're going to roll it just like this, like you would if you're making a worm out of clay or something. Like when you were a kid, okay? Just like that. And then here it goes. Now over here we have our loaf baking pan, this type. It's sort of a French thing. And we have parchment, which we sprayed with some spray stuff. You always want to do that so that it releases. The parchment only works when it gets hot, and you want this dough to be able to, relax and expand. So we spray a little lubricant, a little cooking spray, as they say, without getting into the brand. A little trick I learned from Mr. Peter Reinhardt. Okay, now we're gonna make a freeform one. I'm gonna get a huge hunk. That might be a little too much. We'll leave enough in there for one more of those loaves. We're gonna make a freeform one, okay? Okay, so I'll show you this one. First, all we're gonna do is make our loaf. That's it. That's the whole deal. You know what? Maybe I can use a little more on there. It's gonna be a big boy, sort of like old farmer bread. Okay? Kind of like that. Make sure it's all joined together. You can see it's pretty sticky. Pretty sticky. But you want tension. You want surface tension. You want it nice and smooth on the top like that. Shape it almost like a football. Okay? And then here, we have our greased parchment on another pan. We're going to plop it right on there. Now, these are going to rise for about an hour at room temperature. Then we're going to slash them to let the steam out when it bakes. And we're going to bake them on a grill, and we'll show you how we do that. It's probably time to get our oven/grill started up, our MAK 2-star General. So normally I'd have to go outside there. We took it out already and, you know, get things set up, but not with this one because I got this here remote control. So all I got to do is push this button here, select, bing, and it's starting up out there all on its own. Now eventually I'm going to see the temperature on here and I'm going to set it to 350 degrees, and by then we'll have our dough balls all made and stuff, and we'll be ready to bake. So that's how easy it is to get your MAK Pellet Grill started up. Okay? Let's make those loaves. Okay, folks, so, hi. Okay, folks, so here's our bread. We let it rise for about an hour, a nice warmer place in the building. Look how nice that loaf got. We're going to put a little flour on these, a little flour, like this. I'll show you what we're going to do. Just a little flour on there like that, and what we're going to do is we're going to slice them, and we're going to bake them, and they're going to be ready to go. Here you go. So get a really sharp knife or a serrated knife, or a really fresh brand new razor blade like this here. Watch, that's sort of like a football. That's how I like to do it. This is my favorite pattern, other than the one where I write my name. That's my favorite. And then these here over here on our big rolls or big loaves or whatever you want to call them, same thing here. Slice it down the middle. Let's turn it around so I can get the angle right. Slice, 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 and slice. Okay, now we're going to bake them. Okay, down here we're going to put them on this grill. We got our MAK 2-star General, 350 degrees. We got our baking stone. And I'm going to just transfer this one right on there like that. It's hot. And then we're going to put our loaves right in here like that. Okay? 350. We're going to cook them. We're going to cook them till they're 200 degrees with our Maverick thermometer in the center of each loaf till 200 degrees. Okay? That's going to could take half an hour or more. For that big boy, maybe an hour. Okay? We'll check them later. Okay, folks, we're baking our 100% whole wheat bread in the MAK 2-star General Grill, and it's been 30 minutes, so I think we better check it. So take a look over here. First off, you know the MAK Grill has this huge pellet hopper, and I stashed my Maverick instant read thermometer in there. You know, now we're going to check it out. How's it looking? Pretty nice. Now, you can thumb test them on the bottom, or you can do the thermometer, which is what Peter Reinhardt told me to do. We want 200 degrees. 200 on that one. 200 on that one. Let's check the ends. There we go. That one's still 161. So we're going to take these two guys off and we'll show you what they look like. Hey there, folks. So we're baking our 100% whole wheat bread on our MAK 2-star General Grill. We took our little loaves off a little earlier. They were done, and now we got our big guy in here. Let's take a look. I have a feeling it's done. It's been 50 minutes since we put it on at 350 degrees. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Now I'm going right in the same hole here, so I'll make another hole in it. I'm looking for 200. I'm very good. I think we're going to hit it. Let me try another spot. There you go. At 198, I think that's close enough. So we're going to take it off and bring it inside and let it cool and then cut it off. We'll see you then. So ladies and gentlemen, here is our wonderful large peasant type loaf. The smell is amazing. And here's our longer loaves. Okay, so we let them cool, and now we're going to cut one. We're going to show you what this looks like. So let's get down here, cameraman. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you, I could have sprayed water on these and put a water pan in my grill and it would have made a crunchier crust. But on this kind of loaf, I actually like it with a little bit of a soft crust. And there she is. Is that beautiful? Now, it probably still hasn't cooled enough. It's a little wet yet. But I'm going to cut a slice off here and taste it. See if I can get a slice cut off with it. Yes, it's a little young. It needs maybe another hour of cooling, but we're just too anxious to wait anymore. So there's our slice. Oh man, it's steaming hot. So now's the moment of truth. I gotta tell you, that is really good stuff. And I'm not even gonna have anybody else here taste it. You can trust me on that one. That is really good, and this is 100% whole wheat. Not just quote-unquote whole wheat like at the grocery store when they have regular flour in there. This is all whole wheat flour, and it's good for you. So make it sometime, and I'll see you next time. Let it run.